Everybody, Drummer Dad here with a video on developing a practice routine. So, what we're going to be talking about is if you do not have a specific routine that you're practicing to, your practices can tend to get unfocused, and you can, even if you, this is going to kind of be the third installment in excuse me, some videos on, well, some videos. The third installment in the series where I'm going to put simplifying your practice area as the first installment. The second installment is going to be part 1 and 2 of developing creativity and inspiration around the drum kit. And this will be part 3, developing a practice routine, which all three of these, I think I'm going to call it like behind the sticks, or something without the sticks or something, because all these things are things that you do without even picking up your drumsticks. These are just preparation things that you should be considering. So anyway, what is a practice routine? It's you're going to be asking yourself some questions. You're going to want to know, ask yourself how much time per week you have to practice. And then you're going to be wanting to evaluate your playing. I would recommend probably recording yourself. I actually always recommend recording yourself playing and listening to yourself back, and not like, oh yeah, dude, like I'm just, but listening to yourself as in, okay, what did I do here? What did I do there? Where do I need work with this and that? And just critique yourself. So, okay, so you're going to do that. You're going to critique yourself, and you're going to find out where you need work, and then you're going to look at things that you want to learn or you want to work on, and just we're going to kind of come up with an idea of where you want to go from there. And your second step is going to be to write it down. Get yourself a schedule set up. And actually, behind me here, my practice area set up. My practice kit. I already had my practice kit. Did the video about the practice kit, but one thing that I recently added that I think is, man, since I've bought it, I have no idea why I never done so before, but a sheet music stand is awesome. It's awesome. That the binder I always had, and I've been working out of for years actually. And even the first time around, I had a little similar type binder type thing that I would use to have different patterns and practices and stuff that I did. But I would usually back then I would like lay it on the floor tom, or I would kind of balance it on across the toms while I'm working on my snare, stuff like that. Keep picking it up every time it rattled off and all, but I made it work. But this is really cool because I can put my sheet music and my metronome on my phone. I use as my metronome, so I can have my sheet music sitting there and my metronome sitting right next to it, and like right next to my snare, so, or my practice pad. So that's a really, really cool thing to have. I highly recommend, and it was like 25 bucks or something like that on Amazon. It's a K&M 10011 or something like that, lightweight sheet music stand. But it's a cool stand, man. It really is. I dig it a lot. Like, it's one of those things where, like I said, after buying it, I'm like, I cannot believe that I never had one of these. So anyway, you want to get your back on track. You want to get your practice routine set up, and like I said, you want to be evaluating where you're at and what you want to work on and your goals and those type of things. You want to evaluate how much time you have to practice. Are you going to be trying to practice every day or every other day or every 3 days or once a week, or and then how long in those periods? I have messed around with a lot of different type things, and what I can tell you is, when my heart's in it, I can practice like a lot, and when if it's not, then it's hard to even pick up the sticks daily. It's that's what I'm getting at is it's a personal journey figuring out your boredom rate and your medium of when you're just not productive practicing anymore, and but basically you get yourself for me currently I try to practice 2 hours a day, and well, roughly between the exercises that I do adds up to be about 2 hours, and I break that up, half hour here and there, kind of. So it just like every couple hours or so, I'm just trying to, because I also do it to help my back, so it kind of works out both ways. Because I'm doing it for my mental state to try to get my mind, my mind off of my pain. So it's kind of like medicine, Every couple hours, it's just I dose up with some paradiddles. That's kind of cool, actually, thinking about it. But anyway, so what I'm getting at is that kind of works for me, and I do it. My practice schedule right now, like I said, I got my stuff set up, and in a few minutes, I'll end up coming out with another video, and well, adding one to this because I'll grab the binder and I'll let you see, what I got going on in there, because I kind of like how I do it, because it's pretty versatile. Like, I'll show you as we get to that. But anyway, so yeah, you're gonna want to figure out exactly what can you do, what can't you do, and get your stuff set up. And if if you're playing like a regular drum set, 5-piece drum set, you're gonna want to work on your hands and your feet. You're not just gonna want. A lot of people get stuck on just working out your hands and forgetting about the feet, essentially. And that's something that you really can't do. You need to work on the feet too. So when you're developing a routine, you want to incorporate your hands and your feet into that routine. Maybe not in the same day. I kind of stagger it a little bit. I work on some days. Days 1 and 4 and 5, I think, actually is pretty much all hand work, except for I have some feet stuff in my warm up, and I do my warm up every day. But yes, I do it for myself. I have a 6-day practice schedule, and then day 7 is essentially a day off, but I warm up that day, and I use for makeup. So like, say I don't practice, I do most of my practice on day number 5, but like the last segment I didn't do, I'll put it in the makeup area, and I'll say, okay, I owe myself, 1 hour of the book 4-way coordination or something like that, and then I'll put it in the makeup area, and day 7 kind of handles all the makeups. So anyway, I'm going to come back in another video. We'll go over take a look at the practice binder and or my little practice book, and you can we'll kind of go from there, building on the rest of the video. Okay. It's like a, what is it, a Lumino light. It's like $10. This is actually pretty nice. It makes things pretty bright, for like when you're practicing at night, and it keeps everything, it's like a book light, so it keeps everything else pretty dark. So anyway, it's just what I'm working on here, some stuff I'm working on. But the reason I like this to use is because, number one, you got the plastic on the outside here, so you can put pages on either side, and this is good. So like, like if you don't have a sheet music stand like I didn't for like years and years, you can use this, like you can bring it wherever with you. You can bring it all over and have your stuff set up, and you just prop your binder up and your music's all right there. So open it up right here. You see I got my practice schedule, weekly practice schedule, all my warm-up exercises, and day 1 and 4, and then I got, all the rest of the days lined out. Like I said, day 7's a makeup. Then you look over into the back, and it's where I got a pen in here. And in the back is where I got all the different sheet music that I'm currently, working through. Just different stuff from different books that I'm trying to work through, different solos. And then I got a lot of blank staff paper in here just for when I grab some notes. So this is kind of my practice booklet that I work out of. And like I said, I got something on the back and something on the front. So it's like I can work out of it. Like I said, it's cool. It's great. I love propping it up on a music stand. But this is really good for having something on the go. Like, so you know, if you're, on the bus or whatever, you can just kind of look through your stuff, or you can even, I've even tapped on the actual book with like, a shirt or a sweater over top of it or whatever. But anyway, like I said, that's my practice book, and I'm gonna come back and button up the video. I just wanted to kind of show you that book and what it was all about and all, what I used it for and all. Like I said, I keep my practice schedule right here in the front. I think that's a very important thing, to have your practice schedule and to print it out so it's all lined up and set up so you can. And then also, I don't keep it in here, but in my phone I keep a running note of every day that I practice or don't practice. I mark absent, stuff like that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, up here, just took a look at my practice booklet, workbook. That's the name I've been looking for all video, my workbook. But anyway, I didn't really get into exactly what I was doing, because that's less important than just having a structure of doing something. That's why, like for me, a basic structure in developing a practice routine would be, for me, day one, hands; day 2 and 3, hands and feet; day 4, hands; day 5, hands; and day 6, hands and feet. Make everything that you missed during the week up on day 7, and other than that, give yourself the day off. And how you fill that is going to be depending on where you're at. I would definitely recommend adding, rudiments when you're on the hand days. I would make them very rudiment based. Hands and feet type stuff. That could be a lot. That could be you playing along the songs. It could be you learning songs. It could be you jamming the songs. It could be you working out of books. It's just something that gets your hands and feet moving. Preferably something that's going to be challenging you, though. You want to be challenging yourself. And I would recommend also, whatever style of music that you're playing, have a book in that genre, that category that you're working out of, So it's like, if you're a bop drummer, The Art of Bop Drumming might be a good book for you to work out of. Stuff like that. Just, look around and see. But anyway, that all being said, I do want to say that for beginning drummers especially, but for all drummers, I think some familiarity with stick control and four-way coordination is to your benefit, largely. If you haven't ever worked out of those two books, I would recommend picking up a copy of one or both, because you really learn a lot in those books. There's a lot to know, and just it's going to really help you to develop the future, whatever else you want to do, and while you're practicing, and give you good focus as well, because as you work through the pages and set BPM goals and stuff like that, it's just a good structured way to work. And it also gets you familiar with looking at musical notes and reading and breaking down musical, counting how to count out, eighth notes and 16th notes and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, that's kind of, where we're at with my practice routine. Was I in the shadows that whole time, I wonder? But I'm in the shadows a lot in this video. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of how I do it with my practice routine, and hopefully this helps give you just a general guidepost into how to organize your practice schedule if you haven't yet. Thank you, and have a good day.